Listens, by the way.
So, do you want to talk about more domestic violence in Travion Boykin, or you want to talk more about pro days and give me some winners and losers? Because we can pretty much segue either way.
I just want to say this, and this is my only statement about Trevon Boykin. This is why I don't trust TCU quarterbacks ever. Casey Paul, Tank Carter, all these cats had issues with drugs and domestic violence, whatever. Trevon Boykin.
Maybe it's just that division.
The Big 12? You're blaming Big 12? You're blaming Texas?
Baylor Bears.
Don't kick Baylor while they're down. That's not Christian-like. Oh, yeah, it is. Did I just piss off Christian listeners?
Yeah, probably.
I don't care. I'm going to go to church anyway. I'll pray for you, too.
Wow. Okay. Now you just...
No, because what I'm going to say, Trevon Boykin is a disgrace to every black quarterback who has ever played football. Dude stays getting in trouble. A couple months ago, he got drunk and, almost ran a bunch of people over and crashed into, the side of a building or something. This dude has been screw up after screw up after screw up after screw up.
And he screwed up before he even entered the draft. I don't even think he was able to go to the combine because of it.
He wasn't.
Yeah.
And the cat still keeps getting second chances that a guy like Kaepernick, a guy like Michael Vick deserved, a guy like Aaron Brooks deserved.
RG3.
Yeah, all these other black quarterbacks who deserved a second chance, they're all going to this dumbass. So I just don't want to ever hear about
Josh Jackson.
Josh Jackson.
Marshawn's cousin? Isn't that his name?
Josh Johnson.
Josh Johnson, yeah.
Yep. Josh Jackson's the Iowa corner. You really want him. I mean, he ran a 4.42 at his pro day.
There's so many Josh
Jacksons. He ran a 4.2.
There's a lot of them.
Some of them play basketball. Most play basketball, actually. Most dudes named Josh end up playing basketball. It's weird. Josh Childress. Josh Smith.
He gives us two Josh names.
Josh
from
Smith.
20 years ago.
Josh.
All right, man.
They both play for the Atlanta Hawks.
Touchdowns and tangents.
But
we're there.
Yeah. It's just I'm really tired of hearing about Trevon Boykin, and I just really wish other cats would get a chance instead of these washed up ass quarterbacks like Brandon Whedon, who was never good, by the way.
Never. But yeah, Boykin maintains his innocence and says the woman's blatantly lying about him. He says he'll have his redemption.
Dog, even if it's true, you keep getting in trouble. It's every year, every 2 years. No, I'm done with you. And to be perfectly honest, Brandon Whedon reminds me of Taylor Hicks when Taylor Hicks won American Idol. I don't know what year it was. Don't even bother. You can look it up. He's probably religious too, so that's probably another reason to hate me. I don't really care. Both those guys are trash. And Oklahoma State QBs are trash. There, I said it. Let's talk about Mason Rudolph.
All right, so you want to give me some other winners and losers from the pro days circuit so far?
I'm just going to jump right to it because I already said Josh Jackson. P.J. Hall, defensive tackle out of Sam Houston State. Sam Houston State historically always has really athletic players, whether it was Josh McCown, I think a couple linebackers, DNs, but this guy is the school's all-time leading sack leader, one of the all-time sack leaders in FCS history. With 42, peep this, he won the Jerry Rice Award his freshman year. He had he had 93 tackles, 12 sacks freshman year. He had 6 sacks his senior year. He had, I think, 11 his junior year and 12 his sophomore year. It's insane to think that much production. And there's reports he ran anywhere between a 4.67 or 4.69. Some websites, some people have him at a 4.76. But he had a 38-inch vertical, had a 36 bench press reps. Those are excellent times. And again, for a 6'1", 300-pound man, he had a 38-inch vertical. That's better than a lot of receivers, quarterbacks, running backs, safeties, linebackers, all that you could think of. 38-inch vertical for a man that size. And he gained weight this year. He pulled the old, what's your favorite Arizona D tackle's name? The guy who almost led
Ekendichi?
No, Arizona State.
Sutton?
Yeah, he pulled a Will Sutton, but except he didn't lose all his speed and start sucking. So he might be a 3rd, 4th round pick. at the highest. I think second round might be too low, but he can go as early as the third round with what he did at his pro day, and he was pissed that not everybody showed up. I think like 20 scouts showed up, 20 reps from teams. Yeah, that's the one that stands out the most. There's like a bunch more, but I'll let you go and give yours.
Yeah, man. So Josh Allen, we kind of teased him a little bit last week. Everyone said he did really well at his pro day.
Stupid. He threw a rope that was like, he threw a ball 77 yards in the air. It was ridiculous. I saw it. I was like, okay, all right. And then they keep comparing him to Cam Newton. I'm like, first off, one's black, one's white. Cam Newton ran a 4.59, and he won a national championship at every level of football he played. Josh Allen played on trash-ass Wyoming. Stop comparing Josh Allen and Cam Newton. Well, one's actually a more functional.
Well, Jesse Palmer, who actually ran Allen's pro day, he ran Darnold's pro day. He worked with Blake Bortles. He did his pro day back before. He's the younger brother of Carson Palmer, and apparently
was he on The Bachelor too.
Yeah, and apparently he was in the Elite 11 camp with Jamarcus Russell, and they were ball boys. So basically, he's familiar with T-shirt and shorts All-Americans. He says, out of all those guys I just mentioned, who he's worked with personally, Allen has the most arm talent. He has the livest arm out of that whole group. You're talking about cannons. You're talking about Navy
you're talking
carriers.
About heat-seeking missiles.
You're talking about whatever the anti-noodle club is.
Ballistic missiles.
Ballistic Missile Club is that our new club now that we're starting?
It's not the Bullet Club. It's the terrestrial.
No, it should be more like a mortar club, because it's like it goes far, but you don't know exactly where it's gonna land.
The Slingshot Club, David Slingshot Club, because David killed Goliath.
Yeah, man. Even though you just made anti-Christian remarks earlier, now you're making Bible references. All right, well, that's the Touchdowns and Tangents show. He's at Ozo Grande, so you can troll him and call him out and, well, pray for him. So, KB.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, man, that's pretty much what the Touchdowns and Tangents show is. Football geekery, random metaphors, and that's really just disguising shit talk and banter.
Some slandering. Some definite slandering.
Yeah, some other guys who did not do well. Your boy Deion Kane, Clemson.
He ran a 4.43 at his pro day. What do you mean he didn't do good?
Yeah, but they said he put the ball on the ground a lot. His route running still needs a lot of work. And when you're talking about the school that he comes from, he has big shoes to fill. Like,
he never
you're talking
filled
about
them.
wide receiver. Exactly, and that's the biggest thing. He didn't do it. He didn't do it at the pro day either.
Yeah, his pro day definitely wasn't on our playlist.
Cam Phillips, who was battling injury at the combine, everyone was looking forward to him running. Another receiver in the draft. Dude ran a 4.88, so he heard this.
No.
That was organic.
No.
That gave you indigestion, huh?
He ran a 4.82 or something?
He ran a 4.88.
Oh, I think I saw that. Shout out to South Florida's pro day. Dietrich Nichols, guy you covered at the NFLPA game.
Yeah.
He ran a 4.33. Mike Love ran a 4.76. Bruce Hector, 4.98. Devin Abraham, he ran a 4.58. Not really all that good, but
Jeff Baudet ran a 4.27.
Yep.
Another receiver.
Michigan. Oh, this is what I want to talk about. Maurice Hurst.
Yep.
He measured in 6'1", 291, ran a 4.97, 29 bench press reps, 31-inch vert.
And really, it was just a win because he had the whole heart murmur at the combine, which held him out.
He got cleared by, I think, a Harvard doctor in Michigan and somebody else.
So now it pretty much puts him back into first-round consideration.
I think he'll probably fall to the second round.
I don't know, because Starr still went in the first round.
That's true. He'll probably fall.
This draft pool is comparable to that 2013 draft pool.
He could fall to the Falcons. That's a pretty solid. That's a perfect situation for him.
I think even the Raiders at 10 would have to consider him.
That's really
I'm not
high.
saying they're going to take him. I'm not saying they should take him.
It's only if Roquan and Edmonds are gone.
I'm saying he's definitely he's in the conversation. He's on the board.
The Raiders re-signed Reggie Nelson to teach Paul Gunther's defense.
Yeah, and they're also talking to Leon Hall. So
another guy, a guy who killed his pro day, Kendall Donnerson, linebacker out of Southeast Missouri State, 6'3", 250. Want to guess his 40 time? Ran a 4.44. Had 20 bench press reps and a 40-inch vertical. That literally would have been all-time records had he been invited to the combine.
All right, I'm gonna give you. Can I give you some people who didn't help themselves?
Go for it.
I already said Phillips, but Barkley, and not because like he did bad, but because he didn't participate, and now everyone's talking about the quarterbacks. I think that kind of hurts him going number 1 overall.
I mean, to be honest,
now
they're looking at Bradley Chubb now, so it really wasn't his fault.
That's what I'm saying is if he would have participated and really just showed off one more time,
no running backs coach showed up though.
He could have really cemented himself as the number 1 overall pick. Now he's kind of gonna probably fall to 2 through 4.
Why would you show
2 through
up?
5, 2 through 6, depending on how people move.
Why would you show up? Why would you be at your pro day and perform when no position coaches show up?
Because you're a baller.
He already did that at the combine. There's nothing left to improve.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to run a 4.35.
I mean, Gousset showed out, so.
Gasecki?
Gousset.
Oh, his pro day. LSU's pro day hasn't happened yet.
Oh, I thought it did because I saw videos of
LSU's pro day.
I saw videos of him working out. I guess
LSU's pro day is mad late.
Yeah, he was actually showing that he could catch, which was good for him.
Dante Jackson probably isn't going to rerun his 40.
I wouldn't.
You said he could. He had a bad start. I think if he didn't have a bad start, he would have ran a 4.2 easy. A 4.2 anything.
All right, so since you already kind of hinted at this earlier, let's have some more Raiders talk. Your boy John Gruden just can't be quiet and stay out of the media.
Oh, boy.
Man, every time I hear this guy talk, and this is what I wanted to start the show off with, but, you kind of hijacked my open intro, but whatever.
It happens.
Bro, every time he talks, I just sour on him a little bit more. It's like he's still working for the mothership and still giving them quotes and giving Twitter something to talk about. And it's really annoying because for me, it's like any of us who've had a change of ownership or a change of management at our job and the new guy comes in. Yeah, you expect him to fire some people, get rid of some people, and bring in his own people. Fine. But my issue is when you're the new guy on the block and you come in and you're calling people out publicly in the media, like he called out
Mario Edwards Jr. He should have called out Jihadi Ward.
He called out Jihadi Ward at the combine. He's called out Michael Crabtree before. He stand on all these different guys before, and it's like, dude, I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to start a culture of like accountability and trying to inspire people and letting them know that their time is running out, which is great. But the reality is you can only hold people accountable when you're accountable. And Gruden, he's on a 10-year contract, so he's not going anywhere. It's going to be really hard for him to be held accountable. Plus, you factor in that he hasn't coached in 10 years. It's like, bro, where were you? You weren't here. So how are you going to call me out? How are you going to give certain people a clean slate like Marshawn Lynch, like Derek Carr, because of the previous coaching staff?
His birthday was today, I think.
But then you're going to go ahead and call out like Mario Edwards Jr. And like, believe me, I'm not the biggest Mario Edwards Jr. fan. I just don't like the precedent that John Gruden is setting, because if he doesn't deliver, it's going to open up a whole can of worms, because you can't ask your players to not call you out in the media when you're calling them out in the media. And as we know, number one, Gruden doesn't have the best history with his players. Like the Tampa